The story begins in a forest. At this moment, a group of people is surrounded by some tall, dark, and grim men. The men seem greedy, grinning mischievously. On the other side, a girl is shouting, "Everyone else is out training, you guys from Jin Guang's sect are bullying us too much. Don't you fear the Qian Yuan sect's revenge?" The man from Jin Guang's sect pays no attention. "Isn't it excessive to rob and not go too far? If you have the ability, take the treasures. Meeting us in the trials, you can only blame your bad luck. Brothers, let's take action." As soon as he finished speaking, the men from Jin Guang's sect immediately sprang into action. The scene suddenly shifted to a random person strolling through the forest. He was mumbling to himself, "This trial is too dangerous, I must try to avoid others." Before he could finish his sentence, he took a step and encountered a group of people from the Jin Guang sect in action. He stared at the group in front of him, dumbfounded. While he was in a daze, a mechanical voice suddenly rang in his head. Ting ting, announcing mission selection. Mission 1, rescue the imprisoned disciple of the Qian Yuan sect, defeat the villain. Reward, low-level pill. Mission 2, kneel down and seek reconciliation, plead for the villain to spare the disciple of the Qian Yuan sect. Reward, mid-level pill. Mission 3, pretend not to see anything and quietly leave. Reward, high-level pill. The male lead could only shake his head in despair. This system really wants my life. A year ago, I awakened this divine-level selection system. After that, when I was bound, problems arose. Originally, the harder the mission, the more generous the reward. As a result, it became that the easier the mission, the more generous the reward. In order to obtain the high-level reward, I was forced to make a decision contrary to my will. The disciples of the Qian Yuan sect were overjoyed when they saw the male lead approaching and shouted, "Look, we are saved. That's our chief disciple from the Qian Yuan sect, senior brother Lin Yi. With senior brother Lin Yi here, let's see if the Jin Guang sect dares to show off their strength. Grand senior brother, quickly defeat them." The Jin Guang sect, upon hearing this, felt a bit scared. What? Grand senior brother? And he's the chief? If he really is the chief disciple, we might not be their match. Everyone, be ready to retreat at any moment. On the other side, the girl was becoming more and more excited. Grand senior brother Lin Yi, please save us, let the Jin Guang sect know the power. Before she could finish her sentence, they saw the male lead running away. The disciples quickly reminded him, "Grand senior brother chief, you're going the wrong way, it's over here." The male lead coughed a few times and came up with some excuses. "What do you mean, Grand Senior Brother Chief? Where's the senior brother? How old is the senior brother? Does the senior brother have a lot of gold and silver?" "You've mistaken the person, this humble one is Lin Zhengyi. Perhaps we will meet again in the future." As soon as he finished speaking, the male lead immediately ran off. The crowd was left speechless. The disciples and the girl were furious. "Lin Yi, are you still a disciple of the Qian Yuan sect or not? I've never seen such a shameless person. Don't you fear the sect master punishing you for this?" Hearing the random gossip, it couldn't stop the male lead from pursuing his mission. "Dear senior brothers and junior brothers, I apologize. The Jin Guang sect will only rob you, it won't endanger your lives. If I take action, the loss will just be that high-level pill." The girl added fuel to the fire. "Rumors say the chief disciple is a useless person, who has never taken action and only became chief through connections. I used to think it was just a rumor, but it turns out to be true." The Jin Guang sect member laughed brightly. "The chief disciple has never taken action? A useless person? If that's the case, then let me show you, and you still want to leave? It's not that easy. Brothers, come on, hold him down." With that, the Jin Guang sect brothers rushed forward, and just like that, the male lead was surrounded. Inside, he was screaming, "My high-level pill is gone." While he felt this way internally, he respectfully clasped his hands outside. "Dear Taoist friends, why must we resort to fighting and killing in this world? Let us leave some humanity behind, we may meet again in the future. We are all beings of the same pond, can you not show some respect to my chief disciple?" Then he bowed at a perfect 160 degrees, just like in the textbooks. "I beg you, Great brothers, spare our lives, will you? It seems we can only settle for a mid-level pill then. The Jinguang sect members looked at each other in confusion for a moment, then burst into laughter. Haha, a coward like you. The sect master of Qian Yuan's sect must be blind to let you become the chief disciple. The disciples of Qian Yuan's sect felt humiliated upon hearing this. As cultivators, we aspire to the heavenly Tao. How can you be so weak and cowardly? If I do not die today, I will definitely report the truth to the master when I return, and strip you of your chief position, causing the 300 disciples of Qian Yuan to spit on you for 10,000 years, even if we cannot defeat you. Fight to the death, I won't accept this humiliation. Chief, you have brought great shame to our sect. Heaven has no eyes, how can our sect have such a calamity? Humph, if you want to blame someone, blame yourselves for getting involved with this chief. Brothers, kill them all. The girl immediately entered battle mode, channeling her spiritual energy and shouting, everyone be careful, don't let your guard down. On the other side, the male protagonist had a face as dark as a pot, muttering, I can't even get a mid-level pill now. Don't blame me for being rude then. He raised his hand and shouted, bring the thunder. When he said to bring the thunder, it really came. His aura changed suddenly, his whole body crackling with electricity, striking a cool pose. He swung his hand, and instantly a lightning dragon shot out. Just as the girl was surrounded by a member of the Jinguang sect, that guy was immediately turned to ash. The girl was left with a face full of question marks. What just happened? It seems like the Grand Senior Brother Chief made a move. It can't be, just a moment ago the Grand Senior Brother Chief was so weak. Wasn't he just a useless person? How could he suddenly become so strong? Looking at the super cool male protagonist. The Jinguang sect members were terrified, stuttering as they asked, who exactly are you? I already told you, I'm the chief's eldest disciple of the Qian Yuan sect. Are your ears not working? The Jinguang sect member was sweating profusely, analyzing like Conan. The previous move had tremendous power, the attack force must have reached 10 million newtons. This person's cultivation must have reached an extraordinary level. I am definitely not his opponent. Immediately, he dropped his weapon and asked for peace. Hey buddy, I think what you said makes a lot of sense. Why should we fight and kill in this world? How about we? Before he could ramble on, the male lead punched him, sending him flying to the west. You destroyed my high-level pill, how could I let you go? And so, they were beaten by the male lead, leaving them with a lasting memory. Ting ting, congratulations host for defeating the tyrant of the Jinguang sect, mission 1 completed, reward, low-level pill. Looking at the low-level pill in his hand, the male lead grimaced, well, something is better than nothing, and he had to put it in his mouth and cry, hoo-hoo, a low-level pill is still a pill, let's eat it. Turning to the other side, he saw the disciples of the Qian Yuan sect rushing over to celebrate. Grand Senior Brother Chief, your strength is clearly so powerful, why did you have to pretend at the beginning so they could bully you? We almost misunderstood you as a useless fool. The male protagonist began to pose and said some philosophical words, true strength must be tolerant of all things. One doesn't need to knock others down to demonstrate one's greatness. Feeling the aura of the protagonist, the disciples cried, no wonder he is the chief, it turns out he has such insights. What is that light behind the chief? It's so dazzling. They looked at the male protagonist like a saint, kneeling and bowing. Grand Senior Brother is truly magnificent. For so many years, I had to pretend to be afraid everywhere to earn the system's rewards, causing many people to whisper behind my back. I never expected that today I would miraculously become a revered senior brother, feeling proud like this. It seems that being trusted by others isn't so bad. The male protagonist raised his hand to his mouth and said, all right, regarding today's events, I hope you junior brothers and junior sisters. The group immediately understood and nodded. Grand Senior Brother truly is an expert. We get it, doing good deeds without leaving a name, staying humble, we understand. Indeed, the main character was a low-key, ultra-VIP hidden master. But contrary to everyone's expectation, he suddenly said, we must announce it loudly so that everyone knows. Advertise for me. Show the greatness of my deeds. It's best if you go report it to the sect master. Make a public notice in the sect for 3 days. Oh right, don't forget the kitchen staff. I overheard them talking trash about me the other day. We must cleanse their ears with the truth. Everyone froze at his outrageous request. Lately, I've been down bad. Everyone thinks I'm easy to bully. I keep getting assigned the lowest rewards. Back then, when I fought for high rewards, I got cursed at for ages. My reputation was wrecked, and no matter what I did, I was given the worst rewards. Starting today, I'm changing that. I'm reviving the dignity of the Grand Senior Disciple once and for all. Got that, my darlings? Yes, boss. Excellent. Now hurry back to the sect. Saying that, he turned around and walked away. At the same time, in the sky, there was a carriage riding on the clouds. Inside the carriage was a sweet girl who peeked out from behind the curtain. Is this the disciple of the chief of the Qianyuan sect, preparing to form a marriage alliance with our sect? He seems rather ordinary. The scene shifts to a location in the forest. At this moment, a member of the Jinguang sect, who had just been knocked away by the male protagonist, has regained consciousness. Instead of having the protagonist reflect on his past to gain strength, this character reminisces about his past. Because of my poor family, I, C.I. Lu, have wanted to become someone above the masses since I was young. To join the Jinguang sect, I have endured a lot of hardship. After arriving at the Jinguang sect, he collapsed from exhaustion. At this moment, the sect master of the Jinguang sect, with a shiny bald head, was looking down at him. His head was just as shiny. Damn, that head is so bright, I have to take him in. In order to become stronger, I resolutely followed the lifestyle of the Jinguang sect, doing evil everywhere. Not even the wind and rain could stop me. To this day, even the senior brothers hold me in high regard. C.I. Lu is truly a professional. Finally, through his own efforts, he grew his hair and became the one in the heart of the phoenix. But now, he has been defeated here, humiliated like a dog. Why was I defeated by a mere disciple of the Qianyuan sect? I refuse to accept this. I, C.I. Lu, am the #1 genius in this area. Lin Yi, just wait, I will definitely defeat you. Immediately after, he ran towards the cave. The sect master once said, the strongest body refinement of the Jinguang sect is to internally slay 100 demons. As soon as he entered the cave, he encountered a bunch of hardcore fans. C.I. Lu was so scared that he was on the verge of tears. If I don't die, I will definitely seek revenge personally. Switching scenes to the Qianyuan sect, someone was spreading the news everywhere. The chief disciple Lin Yi, despite the dangers, fought and provoked the Jinguang sect. Is this true? Is the news reliable? Is it that coward Lin Yi? He dared to fight and provoke Jinguang. I don't believe it. After such a long time, we all know what kind of person he is. At this moment, in the ancestral hall behind the Qianyuan sect mountain, the male protagonist walked in to inquire. Master, where's the disciple? Suddenly, a fat old man rushed over and gave him a warm hug. After so many years, you finally made a move. This is the first time you've taken action against someone since joining the Qianyuan sect. Master is so excited, I've almost cried several times already. The protagonist sighed, Hayes, for these past few years, I've been working hard in cultivation just to earn the system's rewards. I've never made a move against anyone, which has disappointed many people in the Qianyuan sect. But Master, on the other hand, has never abandoned me. The old master, overwhelmed with joy, lit 3 incense sticks to pay respects to the ancestors. Immortal of the previous generation, disciple Lin Yi of the Qianyuan sect is not someone who fears death. After 10 years, our sect finally has an heir. Good disciple, you were brought to the Qianyuan sect by that person. The first time I met you, I saw that your whole body was filled with celestial qi. I knew you were a rare talent in cultivation, which is why I made you the chief of the Qianyuan sect, even though, recalling the memories of the past, when I went down the mountain to find a fat bear to test my strength. As soon as he turned around, the male lead was nowhere to be found. During the competition with the other disciples, the old master cheered until his throat was dry. Just as he counted to 3, the male lead had already surrendered without even fighting. Lin Ye's master continued to ramble on about his feelings. In the future, even if everyone says you took the easy way out, I know your strength is not weak. He squinted his eyes sincerely at the chief. Now that you've figured things out, no longer afraid of life and death, you're willing to fight against others. Lin Yi, with a blade of grass in his mouth, listened as his master began to change the subject. Master feels very happy, today is a double celebration. After Master Xing Jiao arrives, the two sects will form a marriage alliance, and we'll see who can shake the status of the Qian Yuan sect. Upon hearing about the marriage alliance, he was immediately stunned and almost spat blood. He had to listen to his master recount an event from 20 years ago. We had a marriage agreement with the Xingjiao sect. The chief of our sect and the holy girl of the Xingjiao sect became husband and wife, strengthening our sect. The Xingjiao sect is a top sect. The reason that person sent you here with a special identity was to give you and the sect this gift. According to the rules, it should have arrived at the sect 3 days ago. Delaying without showing up, I fear, wants to observe you silently. Next to him, Master continued to say, you need to behave well these days. Lin Yi saw the notice board, which was the system issuing a new divine level task. Task 1, behave seriously, gain the favor of the holy girl of Xingjiao sect, and complete this engagement. Reward, level up 1 tier of cultivation. Task 2, behave normally, avoid attracting the holy girl's attention of Xingjiao sect to prolong the engagement. Reward, level up 2 tiers of cultivation. Upon reading this, the chief couldn't help but ponder, isn't it possible to cancel this engagement? However, there was also task 3, behave poorly, infuriate the holy girl of Xingjiao sect, and be determined to ruin this engagement. Reward, level up 3 tiers of cultivation. The line, infuriate the holy girl of Xingjiao sect, be determined to ruin this engagement, level up 3 tiers of cultivation, was directly remembered by the chief. His eyes lit up as he thought, ruining the engagement can level up 3 tiers of cultivation, this is a highly profitable deal. The more he thought about it, the more Lin Yi felt. The system's reward for leveling up cultivation is rarely given, although marrying the holy girl of Xingjiao sect is also good. But how can it be better than advancing to the 3rd level of cultivation? Moreover, I haven't met the holy girl yet. What if she is worse than Jiao Chan? What should I do then? In the end, he clenched his fists and concluded, still, advancing in cultivation is more reliable. Unfortunately, this expression of his caught Master's eye, who thought, my disciple must be very nervous, Master will cheer you on. In the grand hall, Master clasped his hands behind his back and informed Lin Yi, I have to go out with the grand elders for a few days. During this time, the sect is entrusted to you to manage. Master's sudden task took Lin Yi by surprise. He exclaimed, Before he could refute, Master narrowed his eyes and added, as the chief of the sect, you must also learn to manage the sect. Since Master had said so, Lin Yi could only sigh, I understand. Then, the two bid each other farewell. At Xingjiao sect, old scoundrel and his disciple were discussing, why hasn't Master arrived yet? Suddenly, Master's voice echoed through the sound transmission, I'm here. The person appearing behind the two masters had a benevolent face and bowed to them, saying, Master. After the curtain was drawn, Master of the Xingjiao sect immediately asked, how is the investigation going? Is the chief of the Qian Yuan sect worthy of my holy girl? The old scoundrel hurriedly knelt down. Report, Master, we have been investigating for 3 days, and the situation seems quite unfavorable. According to him, Lin Yi, the chief of the Qian Yuan sect, is a coward with a strange and eccentric personality. Within the Qian Yuan sect, he has no authority whatsoever. Even his cultivation cannot be considered exceptional. What's more, his voice grew deeper. It is rumored that he has never practiced the celestial techniques for establishing one's fate from the Qian Yuan sect. Instead, he has been practicing low-level celestial techniques for many years. This shows his talent is too low. I ask Master to reconsider this marriage, or it will ruin the inheritance of our Xingjiao sect. Suddenly, Master Lin Yi appeared to refute. How can you say he is unworthy without having met him? Humph, he pointed and scolded. You old scoundrel, do not underestimate the chief of my sect. The old scoundrel was not to be outdone, he retorted. I looked down on him, he doesn't even know the 8 desolation and chaos technique of the Qian Yuan sect. The master began to argue back and forth with the old man. What are you saying? The old scoundrel mocked. Lin Yi doesn't need to get involved. He will die in Jiu. I'm afraid your sect's chief won't survive a day. The master heard him belittling his disciple and began to engage in a brawl. The old scoundrel yelled, if you can't argue, then resort to fighting. How can your Qian Yuan sect be worthy of our holy girl? Sect master of Xing Jiao sect watched the two old men fighting and arguing. Even if we fight, I'm not afraid of you. Come here, who's afraid of whom, old scoundrel? He closed his eyes to block. Alright, the chess game has been set, the pieces can begin to move. The master achieved his goal and laughed happily. Haha. Jiu Yu quickly unfolded. The members of various sects entered Qian Yuan sect. In response to the words of the master of Xing Jiao sect, the master announced, then let's get started. On this side, the more he struggled, the more trouble his disciple Lin Yi reported from home. The junior sister held a flyer in one hand. Report to chief senior brother, the flyers have been distributed, now everyone in the sect knows about your story. Lin Yi nodded, very good. After the promotion, your reputation in the sect will probably be better in the future. Suddenly, the flyer in the junior sister's hand was snatched away. Zhuo Gong's sharp voice rang out, save the disciple, provoke the Jingguang sect. He stepped in front of Lin Yi, looking down on him with disdain. It's really laughable. The brothers around began to murmur, isn't that Zhuo Gong, the top genius of the sect? What is he doing? It seems there has been a conflict with the chief senior brother. Looking at the two, one in gold and the other in blue, facing each other, the disciples whispered, this time the chief senior brother is in trouble. After all, it is Zhuo Gong's senior brother who is qualified to become the chief. If it weren't for Lin Yi relying on connections, Zhuo Gong would definitely have become the chief disciple. It's only natural that he hates Lin Yi. The gossiping group was most excited about, next, there will be a great show to watch. Lin Yi coldly responded, do you have a problem? Zhuo Gong opened his fan and affirmed, of course I have a problem. Then he stepped closer to Lin Yi, his golden embroidered robe shimmering, and with his sharp words aimed at him, you think you can hit someone just because you have connections? It would be a miracle if you didn't wet your pants. With that, he closed his fan and turned to speak to the little junior sister. Wang Hihua, how many benefits has Lin Yi given you to do this? Junior sister Hihua and the senior brothers strongly refuted. None, we were indeed saved by the chief senior brother. Seeing the brothers still defending Lin Yi, Zhuo Gong came up with a malicious idea. He boldly shouted, ladies and gentlemen, if the chief disciple claims to have defeated the Jingguang sect, if it is not a lie, I ask the chief, do you dare to accept my challenge? Pointed out by Zhuo Gong, the system immediately beeped, announcing, beep beep beep, a divine level mission has been issued due to Zhuo Gong's challenge. Lin Yi glanced at the options. First, accept the challenge and defeat Zhuo Gong, reward, 1 golden spear pill. Second option, accept the challenge and draw, reward, 1 blood command pill. Third option, refuse the challenge and give Zhuo Gong a loving hug, reward, 1 gather pill. Clearly, Lin Yi was attracted to the third option because its reward, a gather pill, was undoubtedly better than the previous 2 rewards. He raised his hand to his mouth, I consider myself not someone who is blinded by money, I just like to hug. Seeing Lin Yi's radiant smile, Zhuo Gong misunderstood, do you really dare to accept this? Lin Yi quickly walked over to Zhuo Gong. Everyone saw him place his hand on Zhuo Gong's shoulder. The brothers began to take sides, the chief senior brother is about to fight, go for it. The atmosphere suddenly froze. Lin Yi didn't fight, he directly picked Zhuo Gong up and hugged him. Zhuo Gong was speechless, and the crowd fell silent. Someone blushed and exclaimed, is this the good movie you were talking about? Zhuo Gong had never been teased to the point of stammering like this before. He scolded Lin Yi, what are you talking about? Lin Yi smiled, his face not flushed, his voice steady, calmly replying, Zhuo Gong, we are both senior brothers and junior brothers, why do we have to fight? There's no need for challenge, do you lack love? Chief is giving you a loving hug. He saw Lin Yi getting closer and was forced to take action, get lost, Lin Yi. The two separated. Zhuo Gong was fuming, accusing Lin Yi, you're dead, today I will strip you of your chief title. Just as the situation was getting tense, a brother rushed in with news, not good. Zhuogong, the elder brother, something big has happened. There are many cultivators outside the mountain gate saying they want to destroy our Qian Yuan sect. This news stirred all the brothers. What? Who dares to be so audacious at our Qian Yuan sect? Could it be that a high-level sect wants to encroach on our territory? Is something serious happening? Zhuogong, as the elder brother, quickly calmed the brothers. Don't panic, immediately informed the elder. However, Lin Yi beside him raised his hand to express an opinion. Well, the master and elder have already left the sect. This unfavorable comment startled Zhuogong. What? He had no choice but to command. There's no other way, everyone gather at the mountain gate to prepare for the enemy. At this moment, the system issued a divine-level mission. After reading it, Lin Yi could only sigh. Another mission like this. He had to shout loudly, everyone, don't go to meet the enemy, I think we should run for our lives. Of course, Lin Ye's words made all the brothers show disdainful expressions. Humph, only in a situation like this can we see Lin Ye's true character. Don't mind him, quickly go meet the enemy. Lin Yi remained silent. Wait for all the disciples of the Qian Yuan sect to go into battle, and he quietly accepted the reward. In a cold cave, the bodies of mutated beasts lay scattered on the ground. The disgusting laughter of Ci Lu echoed, he, I have succeeded. Golden swirling pattern spread across his body. This is the holy body of the golden pattern, he said, satisfied after the massacre. Finally, I have cultivated it. Lin Yi, Qian Yuan sect, I will make you bow down before me, never able to rise again. Ci Lu drew his sword out of the cave, his eyes filled with hatred as he moved forward. Feel my terror. The cultivators of the great sect had gathered in front of a mountain. They whispered to each other, this is the Qian Yuan sect. The mad bull rider mocked the Qian Yuan sect, saying, they look a bit weak, we shouldn't let any of them go. When all the sect's cultivators came out to face the enemy, they were stunned to see who it was. These are the people of the Wanwu sect, a middle-grade sect. Why have they come to our low-grade sect to cause trouble? What should we do now? Are we really going to be exterminated? Some encouraged each other, even if we die, we absolutely cannot surrender to another sect. Lin Yi stood apart in a corner. The familiar, beep beep, sound rang out. Mission assigned, the system selects a divine-level task from the danger of the Wanwu sect. Option 1, lead the disciples to defeat the Wanwu sect. Reward, a low-level weapon. Option 2, prevent the Qian Yuan sect from being destroyed. Reward, a mid-level weapon. Option 3, lead the disciples to escape. Reward, a divine-level weapon. Once again, Lin Yi was drawn to the reward of option 3, the divine-level weapon. He thought, even for a sect, it is very difficult to obtain a divine-level weapon. The reward for this mission is quite generous. Looking at the brothers charging ahead, Lin Yi sighed, but thinking about it, it makes sense. The threat from a mid-level sect means that even if I choose option 1, I basically have no chance of winning. And if I fail, with the master not at the sect, it's likely that the entire Qian Yuan sect will be destroyed. After analyzing the pros and cons, Lin Yi decided, let's run, what are we waiting for? He held his head in contemplation, it's not that I don't want the divine weapon, it's just that I can't fight back. For this reason, Lin Yi began to advise, everyone. Now let's take the opportunity to leave the sect. Who knows, we might still be able to save our lives. The opponent is a mid-level sect, and we basically have no strength to resist. At the end, Lin Yi raised his voice, I command in the capacity of chief, everyone retreat. Unfortunately, no matter how loudly he shouted, the disciples still charged forward. They even retorted, what will happen to the sect if we leave? Just watch it be destroyed. That's right, we disciples of Qian Yuan sect absolutely will not run away. If we do, how will other sects view us in the future? The more they spoke, the more enthusiastic they became, even if we have to die fighting, we will not leave. Lin Yi was at a loss for words. He clenched his fists and replied, but I basically can't fight back. Yet they were already prepared with a response for Lin Yi. They all scolded him for being a waste of words, of course you can't fight back. We have senior brother Zhuogong leading the charge, we can definitely resist Wanwu sect. That's right, the position of chief originally belongs to senior brother Zhuogong. Before even engaging with the external sect, they were already in disarray internally. Lin Yi looked at the fervent spirit of his brothers. He cursed, "Damn it." At that moment, Zhuo Gong appeared majestically. "All right, I have a few words to say." Afraid that everyone might misunderstand Lin Yi, Wang Hihua stepped up to refute. "Senior brothers and junior brothers, you have misunderstood senior brother Lin Yi. In fact, the strength of chief senior brother is very strong." Zhuo Gong sneered disdainfully. "Humph, don't talk nonsense here." He arrogantly mocked, "Everyone knows Lin Yi's strength." Lin Yi, prioritizing the bigger picture, analyzed for Zhuo Gong, the sect can be reclaimed after losing it, but once a person is lost, they truly cannot be saved. Do you really want Qian Yuan's sect to turn into a sea of blood and a mountain of corpses? Zhuo Gong replied coldly, "Enough. You, as the chief, always want to run away, which is truly a disgrace to the dignity of our sect." The two faced off like fire and water. Finally, Zhuo Gong turned to the group of brothers and signaled, "Lin Yi, I won't force you. If you want to leave, just go. Qian Yuan's sect doesn't need shameless people like you." After saying this, he summoned his flying sword and shouted, "Everyone, prepare to fight with me." The brothers immediately got ready to follow Zhuo Gong, while Wang Hihua wondered on the side. "Lin Yi, senior brother, why do we have to run away? Is it that even you cannot defeat the enemy that invades us?" Lin Yi replied seriously, "Among these people, there are some extremely powerful figures, even I only have a 50% chance of winning. If we fail," Hihua, frightened, asked, "then what should we do?" She clenched her fists, anxiously looking at the brothers who were full of fighting spirit. "If that's the case, won't our Qian Yuan sect be completely destroyed?" Lin Yi looked up at the sky, thinking to himself, "It's difficult." In the sky, a disciple of Wan Wu sect, Lian, exclaimed, "This mission arranged by the master is truly troublesome." He spoke to the brother beside him. Wang Quan replied, thinking of the Holy Sun, who told him that the Holy Sun likes the holy girl of Shengjiao sect. "Unfortunately, it causes us trouble." The Holy Sun of Wan Wu sect reminded the two brothers, "Shut up." Dao Qingfeng ordered, "It's almost time, we can start now." The master and the members of Shengjiao sect observed the situation and he stroked his beard, sighing, "To take such significant action just to test the chief of our sect is indeed impressive." The old scoundrel glanced disdainfully and replied, "Truly ignorant. My wife from the master Wan Wu sect comes from my Shengjiao sect. Just find a few people, it's simple." These two old men kept arguing until their eyes burned. The master kindly remarked, "It seems that your disciple's performance is somewhat acceptable for now." The master truly understood Lin Yi. He reminded them, "It's still too early to draw conclusions, let's continue watching." Zhuo Gong, representing his brothers from the Qian Yuan sect, stepped forward to confront, "Disciples of Wan Wu sect, what's the matter with causing trouble at our sect? Is there nothing that can be discussed calmly? Why must it be like this?" Dao Qingfeng looked down from his high position and threatened, "Disciples of Qian Yuan sect, if you surrender and join my Wan Wu sect now, you might keep your lives." Zhuo Gong naturally drew his sword to retort, "No way." Just waiting for the Qian Yuan sect to shake their heads in defiance, Dao Qingfeng signaled, "Then there's no more courtesy, go." Zhuo Gong and his brothers shouted in unison, "Charge." The Wan Wu sect rushed down, disdainfully asking, "What do you have to risk?" Zhuo Gong cut down the first attacker with one strike. He encouraged his brothers, all the brothers of the sect, risking everything to protect the sect. Dao Qingfeng observed the situation below and signaled to Wang Quan, "Aren't you going to give it a try?" He squinted and smiled, "Then I will go." After that, he conjured a dark blue blade and said, "Just in time, my hands are itching to fight." Wang Quan, with the blade in hand, charged down to confront Zhuo Gong directly. Zhuo Gong was pushed back by his moves, countering with the 8 Desolations Zhang Yuan Palm. Under Zhuo Gong's fighting spirit, Wang Quan thought, "This guy is really interesting." Finishing his words, he raised his blade and said, "Then let's see your true skills." The thunderous strike following Wang Quan's go pierced through Zhuo Gong's shield, severely injuring him and making him wobble unsteadily. Zhuo Gong, sweating, cursed, "Damn it, I won't accept this." But as he lifted his head, the tip of Wang Quan's blade threatened him. "Ah, do you accept now?" Zhuo Gong looked in fear and clearly saw the ancient red demon's inner strength behind Wang Quan. How can this be? Wang Quan laughed heartily. Look around, haha, indeed a bunch of rookies, I haven't even used my full strength yet. His brothers were all threatened by the Wanwu sect. Zhuo Gong was about to stand up, confused and thinking. Why is the strength of the Qianyuan sect so poor? A kick to the head from Wang Quan made him kneel down. A disciple of the Qianyuan sect is so useless, are they even worthy of establishing a sect? At this moment, Zhuo Gong felt like a tortured beast. He realized that the Qianyuan sect was completely not a match, fundamentally lacking any power to resist. Wang Quan raised his stick in warning, little guy, if you surrender now, I can spare your life, if not. He laughed maliciously, hee, if not, you will all be dealt with. Zhuo Gong heard the pitiful screams of his Qianyuan sect brothers. Helpless, he replied to Wang Quan, I surrender. Zhuo Gong stayed satisfied Wang Quan, who laughed loudly, ha he, weren't you just so arrogant? This is your senior brother. The Qianyuan sect is indeed trash, finally scared now. He pressed on, mockingly asking, is anyone else surrendering? Hands began to tremble and raise high, I surrender. I surrender. I also surrender. I want to negotiate. Me too. In an instant, a ray of light appeared, and there were brothers trying their best to refute, I will not surrender. Wang Quan was unfazed. He merely glanced over, raised an eyebrow in disdain, and said, if you want to jump around like some trash, I will eliminate you. In that moment, Lin Yi had to shout, stop. But it was too late. The blade ruthlessly struck down the brother who had just rushed in. The momentum of the Qianyuan sect fell dramatically. Everyone bowed their heads and pleaded, we are defeated, we have lost, in the end, we still couldn't protect the Qianyuan sect. Accept your fate, you simply cannot win. At the top of Zhu Feng, Old Scoundrel observed the situation and began to taunt Master, you have lost, the entire Qianyuan sect has lost. Master of the Qianyuan sect, do you have anything left to say? If your sect only has this much strength, I'm afraid it will be eliminated in the future. Master remained calm, stroking his beard with a smile as he leisurely replied, no, there is still one person. Old Scoundrel questioned, one person? Are you talking about Lin Yi? What can he do alone? Moreover, he has been running away since the beginning. Despite the old man's sarcasm, Master continued to respond enthusiastically, actually, our Qianyuan sect has a rule. Old Scoundrel was unclear about what it was. Below the sect, the confrontation between Lin Yi and Wang Quan is just beginning. He heard him boast, yo, the only one standing at the scene, and the little guy scared to death, kneel down and surrender immediately. Lin Yi was so angry that he fell silent. Wang Hihua, bruised all over, helplessly said, Chief, you are absolutely right, we are not a match for them, let's surrender. Wang Quan pointed his spear at him, Chief, surrender now. Lin Yi straightened his back, meeting his gaze. There are times when I really want to run away, to a place where no one can find me. He walked past each of his brothers, who anxiously called out, Chief. Lin Yi continued to share his thoughts, isn't it good to cultivate in peace? The rewards are actually very important. At this point, all the brothers were confused, why is their chief still mentioning rewards? What rewards? Chief, have you been driven to madness? Even Wang Quan thought he was just putting on an act. Lin Yi ignored the disdainful looks from the Wanwu sect and said firmly, but if you want to insult my sect and destroy its disciples, sometimes, even without the need for rewards. Lin Yi clenched his fist. Gathering internal energy in front of his chest, Lin Yi declared, even if it means sacrificing my life, I must continue to protect. Seeing that he was willing to risk everything, Wang Hihua intervened. Chief senior brother, what do you want to do? We are not a match for them. Lin Yi told her to step aside. Hihua, still frightened, called out, Chief senior brother. Lin Yi took a defensive stance and then immediately charged at Wang Quan. Seeing him about to leap forward, Wang Quan said, want to seek death? Look at my dragon wound. Around Lin Yi, golden lightning began to envelop him. Wang Quan became alert. What kind of skill is this? Only when all of his spiritual energy dragon wound was obliterated by the lightning did he panic. No, What? No, it can't be. Wang Quan's entire body was engulfed in the roaring rain of lightning. After the technique ended, he lay gasping for breath at Lin Ye's feet. The brothers of the Qian Yuan sect were taken aback by the counterattack just now. They shouted loudly, "We won, we won." Some were so moved they shed tears. The chief has defeated someone from the Wanwu sect. The chief is so strong that even Zhuo Gong is no match for him. The chief has won. Defeating just one Wang Quan was not enough. From above, Dao Qingfeng witnessed everything. He just didn't expect that the chief of the Qian Yuan sect is quite formidable. Then, he waved his hand and commanded, "Lian, take your people to deal with it." Lian accepted the mission, responded with a "yes," and led the troop straight towards Lin Yi, shouting, "Take care of that little guy." Lin Yi felt like a tree wanting to sleep while the storm refused to calm down. He spoke up, "Perhaps I have been too quiet these past few years, quiet enough for many to forget that." In the next sentence, Lin Yi announced to the entire Qian Yuan sect, "Many people wonder why I can become chief without going through the sect competition, being a prominent disciple, and not having made significant contributions to the sect." Lin Yi emphasized once more that he was rumored to rely on connections and be a disciple of the master. "But all of you have forgotten one rule, the rule of the Qian Yuan sect. Whether it is the master, the elder, or anyone else, no one can change the rule. That is, the one who survives and leaves the hidden heaven abyss must defeat the chief, defeat the elder, and defeat the master." Lin Ye's words echoed even to the place where those observing the battle stood. The old scoundrel questioned, "What is the hidden heaven abyss?" Master explained, "That is the forbidden area of our sect." He recounted, when Lin Yi was 13 years old, he wandered into the hidden heaven abyss. According to the rules, he could directly become an elder or a master, and moreover, he could ask to take on responsibilities after 7 years. Therefore, our Qian Yuan sect suddenly had this chief appear after 7 years. The old scoundrel, upon hearing this, felt, so what? After so many years, hasn't he always been cultivating low-level immortal techniques? Even if he went through the hidden heaven abyss, unless the low-level techniques can counter the high-level ones. Master didn't want to waste words explaining, he simply stroked his beard and smiled, "Indeed, that is the case, but, you just keep watching." At that moment, a large storm suddenly appeared in the sky, causing the Wanwu sect cultivators to panic. "What is that sound? What is it?" Lin Yi took a stance and called forth the thunder dash technique. The group of bearded cultivators following Lian had been beaten to the point of shouting, "Save lives." Even Lian felt a powerful internal force of the heaven dragon rushing towards him. The lightning technique is really strong. He had to change his attack direction, switching to defense to block Lin Ye's thunder dash technique. Lian was much calmer than Wang Quan. He contemplated his opponent. "This little guy has some skills," Lian confidently asserted, "but if this is all he can do, it's nothing impressive." He also noticed that Lin Yi continued to act as before, which only made him feel more victorious. "Little guy, you really underestimate your opponent. Do you plan to use the same trick again? It won't work on me anymore." What Lian didn't expect was that, although it was the same move, Thunder Dash, it was enough to instill fear in him as he looked up. The thunder tribulation descended in a straight line, majestic and magnified. Lian broke into a sweat, exclaiming, What kind of immortal technique is this?" Even the old man from before was surprised to see the peak-level immortal technique. The old scoundrel denied, "No way, this is a low-level thunder dash technique. How can that be?" The master of the Qing Jiao sect also agreed, "It really is unbelievable." He turned to ask Lin Ye's master, "Can a low-level thunder dash technique be cultivated to such a level of power?" They all heard him reply, "That's right, it is indeed a low-level thunder dash technique." The master squinted his eyes proudly and recounted, "This is also my responsibility. When Lin Yi first joined the sect, I prepared the immortal techniques for him. Initially, Lin Yi didn't show much. In order to provide him with a good foundation, he was allowed to choose his own techniques. Among them, peak-level techniques, intermediate techniques, and low-level techniques were all prepared for him. At that time, I did not know why he chose the low-level thunder dash technique. Moreover, he cried out loudly, saying the system deceived him, although I did not understand what he was talking about. From that moment on, Lin Yi practiced day and night. From being unfamiliar and unable to produce a single lightning bolt, he became proficient enough to create a small bolt of lightning. Eventually, he reached the highest level, and thunder rumbled down from the sky. Suddenly, one day, heavenly thunderclouds appeared, and the void was shattered, resembling a natural disaster. I quickly went to see what was happening and was astonished to discover that Lin Yi had mastered the low-level thunder dash technique into a top-tier spell. This talent defied the heavens. From that moment on, I prepared quite a few peak-level techniques for him. Each time, he would cry and refuse. I do not know what is wrong with this child, but he cannot hide his talent. Rest assured, I have found a good husband for the holy girl of your Xingjiao sect. The image of Lin Yi, majestic alongside the great dragon, appeared. As a talent in the making, at the same time, in the remote forest of the Qianyuan sect, Ci Lu had run to the place. He stopped and looked ahead. This is the Qianyuan sect. He was determined, I will personally eliminate Lin Yi, but the loud explosion in the sky suddenly forced him to divert his attention. Ci Lu wondered, what is happening? The sky has been gloomy all this time, and I forgot to bring an umbrella when I went out. What if I get wet and swell up? After saying that, he remembered his main purpose. Forget it, I won't worry about it anymore. I'm here today for revenge, to make Lin Yi pay the price. As he was about to arrive, the last leaves were cleared away, and Ci Lu smiled. Looking at the scene of the dragon descending, he fearfully asked, what is happening? Then, Ci Lu rubbed his eyes and looked again. Could it be that I misjudged? The figure of Lin Yi controlling the thunder tribulation left him bewildered. That person, how can it be? How can he be so strong? The battle between Lian and Lin Yi was about to reach its conclusion. At this moment, Lian could only stand there in shock, waiting for death. Is there no way out? Fortunately, when the thunder dash palm was about to crush him, a magical hand intercepted the attack. The one who saved Lian was, of course, Dao Qingfeng. Lian, moved to tears, cried out, Holy Sun, if you hadn't come, I would have died. You really scared me, Dao Qingfeng replied slowly. You are not his match, retreat for now. The atmosphere began to fall into silence. On the side of Qianyuan sect, a brother had regained consciousness, struggling to sit up and look at the ruins ahead, exclaiming, Damn it, he anxiously called out. Chief Grand Senior Brother, taking advantage of the weakened state of Qianyuan sect, Wanwu sect analyzed. Now, only Lin Yi from Qianyuan sect is still standing. There's no need for the Holy Sun to intervene, we can take him down together. Let's all attack and eliminate him. At the thunderous call to attack, the remaining brothers stood firm. They unitedly wanted, Chief, in place of the Chief Guardian, block them. Even if the sword is broken, we must stop Wanwu sect. But human strength is limited, and they were gravely injured. The brothers of Qianyuan sect were quickly overwhelmed again, and Wanwu sect crushed that hope. You think you can stop us with just you? He heard the person on the ground still talking, so he perked up his ears to listen. What? What? Replace the chief protector. He complained that the voice was too faint to hear anything. But what surprised him was that the other brothers of the Qianyuan sect were also rallying to regain their spirit, shouting in unison. Replace the chief protector. Replace the chief protector. Replace the chief protector, charge forward. Lin Yi stood in the middle, surprised as he looked around. You all, the brothers of the Qianyuan sect had formed a circle. Protectors, fight to the death against them, swear to hold the line. Everyone was heavily injured, their swords not intact, but their will had united as one. This time we swear not to retreat, to let them witness the spirit of our Qianyuan sect a little. Stepping forward, the group turned to reassure him. Chief Senior Brother, don't worry, leave the rest to us, you just focus on fighting Dao Qingfeng. Lin Yi was moved by his brother's spirit. You all really are. Before he could even feel moved for 3 seconds, they told him, although we are useless, we must let the Chief Senior Brother die with dignity. Next year we will light many incense sticks at your grave. Lin Yi was feeling emotional, transitioning to a cold state. How did you know I would die? But he could only sigh. Haze, forget it, let's wait and see the results. System mission issued, choose your difficulty level. Mission 1, defeat Dao Qing Feng, reward a low-level pill. Mission 2, draw with Dao Qing Feng, reward a high-level pill. Mission 3, lose to Dao Qing Feng, reward an ancient divine weapon. This time, Lin Yi was playing the hero. He snorted, "System, don't underestimate me." Clicking on Mission 1, Lin Yi told himself, there are some things that are more important than benefits. With a whoosh, a gust of wind, Lin Yi felt a bit of regret in his heart. My ancient divine weapon, it seems I really have to pay a price. Dao Qing Feng's voice pulled him back to reality. He said, I admit you are very strong, but you are still not my opponent. Dao Qing Feng formed a seal, take this. What followed were fierce spears and blades rushing towards Lin Yi. He disdainfully clenched his fist to face the challenge. Is that all you've got? Kill. His thunderous punch successfully blocked one of Dao Qing Feng's strikes. But he had another trick up his sleeve, asking Lin Yi, can you block me? Lin Yi was under continuous attack and had to dodge, stepping back 3 paces. Dao Qing Feng looked down from above and, seeing Lin Yi falter, mocked him, you dare to be arrogant with such tiny lights? Lin Yi was indeed struggling to cope, exclaiming, these small swords are truly difficult to deal with. The rain of swords fell, Lin Yi dodged, while the other fellow disciples were unable to evade and cried out in pain. After the wave of attacks passed, Lin Yi regained his stance, it's my turn now. He leaped into the air, forming a fist and declaring, Dao Qing Feng, take this. The holy son of the Wanwu sect laughed loudly, ha ha, let me see what tricks you still have. Seeing the arrogant attitude of the man before him, Lin Yi asserted, he is just seeking his own death, then I will grant it to you. On one side, he summoned the great dragon, suppress him for me, while on the other side, he summoned a flying sword, swinging it towards its mouth. A blinding light erupted in the sky, the sound of clashing techniques resounded, and all the cultivators witnessing this confrontation had to exclaim, oh my god, when did the chief become so powerful? Finally, a circle of light separated. The rumbling thunder still echoed as Lin Yi appeared unscathed. Seeing him safe, the brothers of the Qian Yuan sect cheered, we won, Chief's senior brother has won. In contrast to them, the cultivators of the Wanwu sect were utterly stunned, how could this be? Dao Qing Feng's senior brother has lost. Lin Yi staggered, feeling a bit drained. Then, the brothers of the Qian Yuan sect quickly realized something was wrong, Chief's senior brother has fallen. The coward Cai Lu, who had just witnessed the duel, was equally astonished. He cursed, damn it, am I blind? How can this little guy be so strong? Lin Ye's strength made him furious, and he punched the rock beside him, impossible, impossible, it must be fake. The battle had not yet stopped, the ground of the Qian Yuan sect trembled. Everyone looked at each other in confusion, what is that sound? What's happening? The people of the Wanwu sect knew this was a sign of Dao Qing Feng's emergence. He was rising fiercely from beneath the rubble, his overwhelming power causing a hailstorm to officially appear. Falling rapidly into the crowd of the Qian Yuan sect, the situation was chaotic. Dao Qing Feng flew towards Lin Yi, gritting his teeth and declaring, you have driven me mad. He concentrated his energy to unleash the Defeng sword technique. The previously calm sky suddenly shook, and a strong wind swept through. The brothers of the Qian Yuan sect anxiously looked around, what is happening? The wind is rising. The terrifying Defeng unleashed by Dao Qing Feng attacked the entire sect before him, causing everyone to cry out in pain, what is this? Their bodies were torn apart by the wind, bleeding, unable to see the attack. In the end, everyone was knocked out, still worrying about the chief's senior brother before losing consciousness. Dao Qing Feng also had a dragon, but his dragon was formed from wind and flying swords. Under his command, go, Defeng, blow. The blue Jiao dragon charged towards Lin Yi. Before he could recover, he cursed, damn it, this is not good. As the Jiao dragon, along with the swarm of swords, pierced through, Lin Yi raised his hands to shield himself. What kind of technique is this? From head to toe, Lin Yi was cut by the flying swords. Yet, he still managed to complement Dao Qing Feng. This name indeed has some ability. The Jiao dragon wrapped Lin Yi up. After passing through his body, it turned towards Dao Qing Feng. The brothers below, seeing Lin Yi fall freely again, exclaimed, not good, senior brother. Chief senior brother. Lin Ye's immobile state made the cultivator from Qian Yuan sect helplessly shout, damn it, have we lost? In the end, is it really not possible? The four people at the top of Zhu Feng witnessed the entire battle. The master of Shengjiao sect smiled and commented, the rumor that Dao Qing Feng was born with holy light descending from the sky, and at 6 years old, his sword intent entered the path, now his strength is on par with the master, worthy of the title of one of the top 10 geniuses. The old scoundrel, seeing that Lin Yi had no strength to resist, laughed loudly. It seems that the chief you mentioned has indeed lost. Only the master remained calm in response. Lost? How could he lose? The reason the master could confidently speak like this was, he cannot lose, his strongest skill has not been revealed yet. The old scoundrel, seeing the old man opposite him being overly dramatic, couldn't help but sneer, does he still have a way out? Even if there is, under the current circumstances, how can we defeat Dao Qing Feng? Master crossed his arms, refusing to continue speaking with the ignorant old man. He urged the old man to keep watching. The old scoundrel felt insulted and shot Master a scrutinizing glance. Are you insulting me? Watch me tear your mouth apart. The two fell into a brawl again. Master even challenged him, go ahead and try, let's see if I won't break your neck. The young disciple beside them hurriedly intervened, please, both seniors, stop fighting. But nothing she said had any effect, and she anxiously looked over at Master Shengjiao sect. She saw him silently observing the battle below from Qian Yuan sect. Lin Yi was propped up, standing unsteadily, praising Dao Qing Feng's swordsmanship, but don't think you're the only one who knows. As he spoke, Lin Yi raised his hand to make a gesture, Dao's sword extreme, De Feng. Dao Qing Feng was taken aback, what? A gust of wind swept past where he stood. When he opened his eyes, he found no one in front of him. He angrily shouted, no way, do you dare to trick me? Dao Qing Feng looked around, asking, where is everyone? Lin Yi had moved behind Dao Qing Feng at some point. He keenly sensed that something was off. Lin Ye's arms wrapped around the front, tightly locking Dao Qing Feng in place. He even whispered in his ear, didn't expect this, did you? I don't know anything, just fooling you. The cultivators from the Wanwu sect saw this scene and immediately rushed over, cursing Lin Yi as a shameless person, not talking about martial ethics, quickly let go of our senior brother. Lin Yi still held on to Dao Qing Feng tightly. He even had time to retort, I scoff at that, I've never talked about martial ethics when fighting. I just enjoy seeing you all hate me but not being able to do anything. Here, take this fart as a gift for you all. Lin Ye's personality infuriated them, and they swore, damn, he has no shame left to throw away. Some even pounded their chests in despair, saying, I feel like that golden elixir is about to drive him insane. Dao Qing Feng had been silent until now, suddenly looking back and speaking, even if you hold me, what can you do? You've lost. Lin Yi opened his mouth to utter the phrase, divine weapon ancient. With those words, he successfully piqued Dao Qing Feng's curiosity. What? He couldn't hear Lin Ye's next answer, only feeling the collar of his shirt dampening slightly. It turned out Lin Yi was crying in frustration. Do you know how much I sacrificed to defeat you? Return the divine weapon ancient to me. Lin Yi tightly hugged Dao Qing Feng while calling out the thunder dash technique. Dao Qing Feng looked at the golden dragon descending and struggled, cursing, do you want to perish together with me? This time, both sides, the Qian Yuan sect and the Wanwu sect, were worried about the safety of their chief senior brother, Dao Qing Feng, senior brother. Lightning struck, and rocks flew everywhere, making it hard for those outside to see who was standing up. The Wanwu sect whispered to each other, did we win? The brothers of the Qian Yuan sect were all calling out, Chief, Chief, did we win? As the dust cleared, Dao Qing Feng stood firm, coughing, while Lin Yi lay motionless on the ground. This meant that the Wanwu sect was celebrating. Ha ha, Dao Qing Feng's senior brother has won. Dao Qing Feng smiled at the opponent who had just embraced him, now lying still at his feet. He sighed, you are indeed very strong, but I have said before that you are still not my match. The Wanwu sect monks were enthusiastically shouting, Senior brother Dao Qing Feng, Senior brother Dao Qing Feng will always be a god, senior brother Dao Qingfeng is invincible. Lin Yi was still not giving up. He pulled Dao Qingfeng's leg. Do you know how precious the divine weapon ancient is? Dao Qingfeng truly did not understand what was wrong with this opponent and asked, what exactly do you want to say? Answering whatever was asked, Lin Yi summoned Ultimate Kill, Great Thunder Dash Technique, and 9 Dragon Thunder Peak. Dao Qingfeng struggled to move and finally had to tell Lin Yi, let me go, do you want to die? With a kick from him, Lin Yi was hit hard and coughed up blood. Dao Qingfeng, blinded by anger, snarled, damn it, if you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. With a single gesture, Dao Qingfeng summoned Extreme Sword of the Great Dao. Unexpectedly, he was caught by the Qian Yuan sect brothers, who assisted Lin Yi by shouting, Chief Senior Brother, hurry up and take action. In a passive situation, Dao Qingfeng dealt with a few holds with just a get lost. Seeing this, the Qian Yuan sect brothers became even more eager to charge in. I swear I will stop him, he won't escape. Lin Yi called upon all his thunder dash strength. Finally, he managed to control Dao Qingfeng, preparing for a finishing blow. Suddenly, a force from the sky intervened. Dao Qingfeng knew he was being rescued. Lin Yi looked up at the sky, where a pink robe appeared. Zhuogong was unclear about what this was, and so was Lin Yi. He lamented, my thunder dragon was easily neutralized by her. As the master of the Shengjiao sect, she waved her hand to open the chains binding Dao Qingfeng, severing them and restoring his freedom. Seeing the situation turning unfavorable, Dao Qingfeng had someone supporting him from behind. Zhuogong asked, who is it? Before he could get an answer, Zhuogong was stunned to see Dao Qingfeng bowing, I pay my respects to the senior. Everyone was puzzled, where did this senior come from? Following that senior was the master, who flew over and gestured, everyone, stop. Zhuogong questioned, what's going on? The master quickly explained to the disciples, actually, today's event is the master of the Shengjiao sect wanting to assess the chief of our sect. I apologize for bothering the members of the Wanwu sect, said the person in charge, leaving everyone stunned. What? Master Shengjiao sect has ordered, the disciples of Wanwu sect should provide pills for the injured to use. The situation shifted from fighting to feeding each other pills, which was somewhat confusing. However, the brothers of Qian Yuan sect stood up thanks to the pills, stretching and exclaiming, my wounds have completely healed. Me too. Zhuogong saw the master return and approached to plead, Master, look, I am also injured and have contributed to the sect, shouldn't the chief position belong to me? Unexpectedly, the master waved him away, get lost. Dao Qingfeng brushed off the dust from his body and said, humph, before turning to Lin Yi and saying, you have some tricks up your sleeve, everything before was just a facade. Lin Yi stood up helplessly, angry but not knowing whom to scold. So you're saying that even if I didn't take action, the sect wouldn't be overthrown? How ridiculous! Do you know what price I paid? Return the divine weapon ancient to me. With that, a punch sent Dao Qingfeng tumbling backward. While the members of Wanwu sect were worried, they called out, Qingfeng's senior brother. Senior brother. Lin Yi turned away, hearing the system announce with a beep beep, congratulations host Lin Yi for completing the task of defeating Dao Qingfeng, one of the 10 great geniuses. The system reward is a low-level pill. Looking at the small, ordinary pill in his hand, Lin Yi's anger subsided momentarily before flaring up again. Dao Qingfeng felt danger looming once more. In the next moment, Lin Yi charged forward, you owe me a divine weapon. Fearing a potential tragedy, the brothers of the Qian Yuan sect hurriedly stopped Lin Yi. They earnestly advised him, Chief, let it go, don't stoop to his level. Chief senior brother, don't be impulsive. Lin Yi was so angry that he started to cry, woo-woo. Suddenly, his forehead was flicked, it was master reminding him, good disciple, stop causing a scene, there's something I want to discuss with you. The sect master of Shengjiao sect appeared, praising Lin Yi, you are outstanding, starting today, you are the fiancé of our holy girl from Shengjiao sect. Lin Yi was still recovering from the shock of missing the divine weapon when he heard this news, which struck him like a bolt from the blue. Oh my, Shengjiao sect is a top sect. Some brothers expressed their admiration for him. Chief senior brother is so lucky, sob sob, because our sect almost lost its lives, the result was a lonely battle. Don't cry anymore. If the chief can have a marriage alliance with Xingjiao sect, then of course we will also receive their care. The most excited person is probably Zhuogong. He continues to approach the master, eagerly expressing, Master, Lin Yi is leaving. Does that mean the chief will be available? What do you think of me? Actually, I'm no worse than Lin Yi at all. The master directly ignores him and takes Lin Yi away. Zhuogong hurriedly calls out, Master, don't go. This news even surprised the cultivators of Wanwu sect. Qing Feng's senior brother, it seems that the person in your heart has been taken by someone else. Dao Qing Feng is in turmoil, simply using one word to drive everyone away, get lost. The system then pops up a notification, congratulations host for completing the mission, gaining the favor of Master Xingjiao sect, completing this marriage contract, reward, cultivation level 1. While the system is calculating the reward, Lin Yi shouts loudly, wait, I won't do it, I want to cancel the engagement. His words cause the atmosphere to freeze for 3 seconds. The disciple of the Wanwu sect pointed at Lin Yi and laughed, saying, Qing Feng, senior brother, is this guy out of his mind? It seems you have a chance now. The master of the Xingjiao sect glanced over at the master of the Qianyuan sect. He had, of course, heard Lin Ye's refusal. If you break off the engagement, the resources promised to your sect will also be revoked. Have you thought this through regarding our initial agreement? A master would never allow his sect to suffer losses. He unleashed the binding spell, and Lin Yi was immediately restrained. He shouted loudly, Master, what are you doing? The master scolded him, you ungrateful wretch. The master has put in a lot of effort for this marriage, sacrificing greatly. How dare you break off the engagement? After saying this, the master turned to speak with the master of the Xingjiao sect. He agreed to have Lin Yi imprisoned and taken away. The resources that were promised to our sect should be reconsidered. Furthermore, the previous agreement still stands. Lin Yi saw that the master was about to sell him off and felt frantic, but he could only shout, hey, I am a cultivator of immortals, how can I be humiliated like this? Even if the Xingjiao sect is powerful, I absolutely will not be a man who clings to his wife's skirt. Even if you take me away, you cannot take my heart. Even if you could take my heart, the disciples of Qianyuan sect, united in thought, would absolutely not agree. It would have been better not to mention the brothers who fought life and death with him earlier. Once mentioned, they all agreed and conveniently lifted him onto the bridal palanquin. Lin Yi helplessly cried out, hey, what are you doing? His brothers were now only concerned with, we don't know when we will receive resources. Our sect is poor, we can't even buy pills. You should sacrifice a little for us. Lin Yi, senior brother, from now on, handed over to Xingjiao sect, even Zhuogong stepped in to push Lin Yi to marry. Master just said, if Lin Yi leaves, I will be the chief. Everyone, let's work hard to send Lin Yi to Xingjiao sect immediately. The sect master of Xingjiao sect accepted Lin Yi, saying, that's fine, he will enter Xingjiao sect with the identity of chief of Qianyuan sect to cultivate. Thus, everyone witnessed the chief being escorted onto the palanquin, unable to move. As the palanquin left, his curses could be heard, damn, shameless, what the hell, in broad daylight, forcing a decent man to become a husband. Is there still a heavenly principle? Master and his Qianyuan sect brothers squinted their eyes and waved goodbye. Lin Yi, take your time. Once the commotion subsided, Master turned to Dao Qing Feng and said, the heaven and earth gathering is about to start and everyone is concerned about this great disaster. Your Wanwu sect should prepare in advance. Dao Qing Feng bowed to acknowledge the order. Yes, I will return to inform the master, then commanded the troops to withdraw. Let's go. At the edge of the forest, Cai Lu watched the streaks of light departing in the sky, exclaiming, the Wanwu sect has grown strong but has still been defeated, how can this be? Cai Lu recalled the techniques Lin Yi used in the previous battle, and he angrily slammed his fist down on the ground. Why has Lin Yi become so strong? I am Cai Lu, the tiger of the Jinguang sect, I refuse to accept this. As he shouted, I refuse to accept this, a dark force appeared behind him with a sinister voice. Indeed, a pitiful ant, no matter how many times you refuse to accept it, what can you do? Cai Lu startled and turned around. What are you? The physical form before him shot out a bolt of lightning from its mouth. He fell backward. What are you doing? So strong, who are you? The eyes of the physical form of the dark shadow gleamed. He replied, we are the same, both pathetic failures. But this time I give you a chance to follow me. Let's make those geniuses pay, shall we? Ci Lu realized he couldn't defeat Lin Yi alone. He nodded, sinking deeper into evil. I agree. The holy girl of the Xingjiao sect looked at Lin Yi, who was tied up before her, and exclaimed, the ugly one. Then, the holy girl shook her head, maybe I'm not the ugly one, I just. Lin Yi wondered, aren't you the one being forced to marry? Why are you so tense? I'm not even talking about you. He silently remarked, besides, you are so beautiful, there must be many people pursuing you, right? Surely, the holy girl isn't gloomy about getting married. With Lin Ye's words, the holy girl seemed to awaken. At that moment, the system beeped, beep beep, congratulations host for completing the mission, gaining the favor of Master Xingjiao sect, fulfilling this soul contract, reward, first level cultivation. Direct cultivation is infused into the body, but, Lin Yi noticed the person in front of him, wait, you are. The flying carriage suddenly shook violently from a force. Soon after, a gleaming demon sword pierced through the carriage, shattering the body of the vehicle. Lin Yi, still bound, fell freely due to the force. He swore, damn it, what's happening? The holy girl held onto the chains with one hand, stabilizing herself with the other, and reassured Lin Yi, don't be afraid, I've got you. Over here, the master of Xingjiao sect noticed the commotion. His voice was somewhat angrily reproachful, the calamity hasn't even started yet, and you can't handle it this quickly? Who is it? I'll give you a chance to get out of the calamity. In response to the question, a gloomy voice echoed throughout the canyon, calamity? He laughed loudly, heh heh, stop with the lies. After saying that, he appeared with two blood-red demonic eyes, threatening the Xingjiao sect, hand over the holy girl, and I'll give you a way out. The master frowned, reminding him, you don't know your own strength. The demon realized that negotiation was futile. Starting to extend its disgusting tentacles, it attacks. Junior, you will pay for your arrogance. Master assessed the urgent situation and ordered Old Scoundrel, take them away first. Old Scoundrel saw Master charge into battle and couldn't stop him in time, only standing below with outstretched hands, worried, Master, you. To reassure him in saving others, Master unleashed the immortal weapon and replied, what can they do to me? As he finished speaking, he used his evil energy eyes, monsters, come out here. The power radiated, halting the attack of the tentacles. Old Scoundrel received the order and signaled Holy Girl, quick, follow me. The cunning one saw them running, he was not short of tentacles, so he extended one to block their path. It won't be that easy. As he finished speaking, several of his henchmen rushed out to chase after Holy Girl. The dense forest below was convenient for Old Scoundrel to lead everyone into. He explained, the sky is too dazzling, and the ground is easy to hide, they must run very fast. But at this moment, Lin Yi discovered a problem. Wait a minute, he asked Holy Girl. What just happened as soon as we started? Seeing three masked figures flying over, escaping was no longer easy. The leader, with a few strands of green hair, warned the three, let's see where you can run to. Old Scoundrel stopped, standing in front of Lin Yi and Holy Girl, confronting the leader, this aura and this strange appearance, you are from the demon clan. They immediately displayed an explosive attack, no, we are the souls of the past. Before they could even touch a single hair of them, the demon clan member was struck down by Old Scoundrel with a single sword strike. He looked down on them, humph, what is a soul? Back in the day, my nickname was the Demon Sword Sorrow, just asking if you are scared or not. Lin Yi and Holy Girl applauded in admiration. The leader of the demon clan asked back, is that so? He continued to use spells, flying in front of the three again. They were still being pursued. The demon clan member looked at them being blocked and asked, want to escape? Prepare to die. They used a technique similar to the great demon leader fighting with the sect master, it is, Crimson Absorption Tentacle. Old Scoundrel watched the tentacle from the demon clan's finger flying towards him. He chuckled to himself, just some trivial tricks. Summoning the demon sword, he struck forward. Although he managed to counter the majority of their attacks, the leader suddenly increased his power. He pushed his inner strength, causing the sound of clashing swords to ring out painfully. The old scoundrel fell into confusion. He can actually break my blade of severing. He pulled out a cylindrical object from his left chest and threw it towards the demon clan. It seems you have some skill, but today I cannot let you escape. This was the mysterious martial soul-binding talisman, which immediately bound the entire group of demons. The old scoundrel turned to Lin Yi, urging, "Quickly, I will control them now, you use this immortal weapon to deal with them." Lin Yi took the immortal weapon, preparing to unleash the killing intent, when the demon sneered, "Little guy, you are merely a pawn for them, why risk your life for them?" Lin Yi retorted, "Your scheme of sowing discord is useless." He narrowed his eyes and mocked the boy, "What I say is the truth, the cycle of heaven and earth is just a game played by those above, the master of the Xingjiao sect is the one holding the pieces."